The Blue R1 HD may be the best smartphone money can buy. It's really shocking what you can get for the price. Now, the R1 HD features several different variants, 4 to be exact. The cheapest of the 4 variants starts at $50, which features 8GB of storage and 1GB of RAM. For $10 more though, you can get 16GB of storage and 2GB of RAM. But the reason they're so darn cheap is because they're exclusive to Amazon Prime members, and they feature offers and ads that are placed on the lock screen, which you cannot remove. It's the price you pay for a cheap phone. You can, however, buy these 2 variants without the offers and ads, but the price shoots up to $100 and $110 respectively, so they're about twice as expensive. In addition to the 8 and 16GB of storage and 1 or 2GB of RAM, you'll find a 5-inch HD curved display, 1.3 GHz quad-core processor, 8 megapixel rear-facing camera sensor, 5 megapixel front-facing camera sensor with flash, I will add, a microSD card slot for expandable storage, 4G LTE, and Android 6.0 on the software side of things. What? Android 6.0? That's pretty ridiculous. Ridiculous. I will say, you can tell that Blue had to make some budget cuts in the packaging materials. The box looks pretty darn cheap. It's just folded over cardboard. Nothing that really screams quality here, but let's see what's inside. Upon slicing apart the tape and lifting open the flap, we'll find the R1 HD sitting right on top, which I'm gonna set off to the side for now. Underneath, there is not a whole lot. There's a standard 5-volt wall charger and micro USB cable with a SIM card installation guide and quick guide. That's about it. No screen protector or case or earphones with this guy. So taking the Blue R1 HD out of its plastic bag and peeling off the plastic film, I love doing that, you'll continue to be shocked with what you see once again, given its price. There's a plastic back cover, but it's not like a slippery, slimy plastic. It's quite the opposite. It has some sort of grippy material or coating to it that helps to keep it from slipping in the hand. And it doesn't pick up fingerprints at all, which is pretty awesome. We also have an aluminum frame that stretches around all 4 sides of the phone. Yeah, metal is found in a $50 smartphone. The buttons appear to be made of metal as well. What this creates is a very sturdy smartphone. There's really no flex here, even when trying to bend the phone. The back of the phone is removable, so that's one perk of having a plastic back cover. You'll find 2 micro SIM card slots and a micro SD card slot for expandable storage. The battery is a 2500 mAh battery, but it's non-removable. The display measures in at 5 inches diagonal, and it's an IPS LCD display with a 720p resolution. It comes in at 294 pixels per inch, so not quite up to Retina iPhone standards of 326 pixels per inch, but close. Content appears fairly sharp overall. The viewing angles are really excellent, and the color vibrancy is pretty solid, though it doesn't come close to the contrast ratio that AMOLED panels can produce. So the model I have is the Amazon offers and ads model. You'll see on the lock screen ads look like this. You may have paid for YouTube Red, but that doesn't mean we're not gonna show you ads. Oh, what you gonna do? Nah, it's my guess you actually want to see these ads. You wanna see how they look and how obtrusive they are. Well, here you go. They are pretty obtrusive. They take up the entire screen, and the ads are different every single time you open the lock screen. If you sign up with your Amazon account, the ads will be based off what Amazon thinks you'll be interested in. Now, there's no option for you to remove these ads. Obviously, it's just part of the deal for buying a subsidized smartphone, but you just might be able to root the device to remove them. That's all I'm gonna say about that. They are exclusive to the lock screen though, so once you swipe past the lock screen, boom, say goodbye to advertisements. Now, the Blue R1 HD, I believe, is the first smartphone that I've unboxed with Android 6.0 Marshmallow running out of the box. And for a budget smartphone, it's all the more impressive. It's impressive to see how well it runs on fairly low-end specs. Granted, I do have the maxed out variant. You will find a very stock Android-esque experience here with very little added Blue features or customizations. The app drawer flows vertically. Google Now on tap is present. The app drawer, settings, and the overview tray is nearly identical to stock Android Marshmallow. I think it flows very well. I haven't noticed any serious lag in my testing. It is being powered once again by a quad-core 1.3 GHz processor with 2 GB of RAM. Geekbench 3 spits out a single core score of about 530 and a multi-core score of nearly 1600. The front of the phone features a 5 megapixel selfie camera with an LED flash. After changing the image quality to its max settings, I was able to capture some decent results. It does tend to overexpose some of the images, and there isn't a ton of detail, but it's not bad. It's a fairly wide angle sensor. The flash, well, it could be good in low light scenarios. It's there if you need it, but in my testing, I haven't really needed it. The rear of the phone features an 8 megapixel camera sensor, and while it too does tend to overexpose images, I think you can capture some decent results. Let me know your thoughts on the image quality in the comments below. The speaker, on the other hand, is really cheap. It's really tinny and not very loud at all, and worst of all, it's on the rear of the phone, right where your palm lies. As for the 2500 mAh battery, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but when compared to the flagship LG G5, which features a 2800 mAh battery, you know, it's not too distant. Plus, the phone is only being powered by a 720p resolution and lower-end quad-core processor with 2GB of RAM. It should provide for at least 3 hours of screen on time. But I'll keep you all updated on Twitter. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter at BoHD, I'll post some battery life results. Overall, I can recommend the R1 HD for anyone looking for a budget smartphone. I think for the price, it's absolutely unreal and well worth $50 or $60 off contract. And as much as I hate advertisements, I do recommend the $60 R1 HD. With 2GB of RAM, 16GB of storage, there's really nothing else that can compete for that price. And you know, if you're going to pay for the full outright $100 or $110 price without the ads, I would just suggest bumping up to the Vivo 5, which features better all-around specs for about $100 more. I think at the end of the day, you want a smartphone that can save you some money. $50, $60, you really cannot beat what you see here. And honestly, I think the savings is worth seeing a few ads on the lock screen. That's my personal opinion. I'm going to provide a link for you to buy or just look at the R1 HD listing on Amazon down below in the description. The link will take you to all 4 variants. I'll also provide a link to the Vivo 5 if you're interested in that as well. But with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. As always, I'm BoHD from PhoneDog.com. I will see you in the next one. See ya.